is now. This is our side quest episode, the third side quest for episode 3, which is super cool. We have been kind of humbled in the way this has been going. I didn't expect people to love what we're doing this much, and it's awesome. So this side quest is going to be taking place right at the end of episode 3, right when Oliver and the rest of the crew is beginning to take rest in the Leshy's kingdom that's underneath this area where they get to kind of sleep off everything, decide what they want to do the next day, and how they want to go into the Everston estate. So with that, this is going to be our first side quest that is a one-on-one. And we're doing this with Oliver for 2 reasons. So let me switch this over to both of us. Oliver or Alan, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey,
Doing well?
doing pretty good, yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
We haven't done this since Witcher.
It's been a hot minute, but Witcher was a load of fun.
Witcher's fun. So I love doing one-on-one things, and we wanted this side quest to be a one-on-one. And we're starting this a little differently. So instead of being the downtime that happens between 2 episodes, we are going to do a dream sequence / flashback of Oliver's. How long ago is this roughly? A couple of years? How far back are we going with Oliver?
This dream is going to be taking place about 2 years prior to episode 1.
Okay, 2 years. All right. And we haven't been even a year yet in the game, so that works. So 2 years back. 2 years is a lot in this setting. So the Sundering has only been 57 years now since everything went to shit. The world was in the middle of a rebuilding process. The dark tides have shown up. This has been quite the thing. And your family is a well-known, well-off, noble family. And you have quite a few family members. And today we're going to see a few of those family members, not all of them. I don't think we're probably going to see your father during this, but we're definitely going to be dealing with your mother, which is Lavender. We're going to be dealing with Gregory, or not Gregory, sorry, Edward, which is your brother. And then, are we dealing with your sister during this one? Probably not. No? All right,
Probably
so
not.
just the two. And then obviously, we won't say the other one, but she'll be a pretty big part of this as well. So, without further ado, I guess we should get into this and set it up. I'm going to keep us on this side by side for right now. We will go into a map thing when we need to get into it. But him and I are both pretty descriptive GMs and players, so we want to see how this will turn out with less imagery and see if we can just kind of paint it ourselves. You know, our blade in the dark years. So let me get us a little music here, and we are going to dive into the start of this. So I believe we wanted to start with Cadro, right? Isn't that where we want to begin this scene?
The capital city of the true faith.
Yeah, so the capital of the true faith, Cadro is the central of the true faith, the capital of everyone who is underneath their rule, the theocracy. This is the metropolis of Athontia. And we're going to be taking place on a cobblestone road, one of the original roads before they rebuilt this city into what it is now, into this grandness that it is. And this road leads out to the original fountain made called the Voice of the Mother, or the Song of the Mother. It's a large fountain. It has the original true father of the faith, and it also has the mother who is involved with that. And she, at the point in time that this was made, was the speaker of the true faith. Basically, the spirit of the true faith takes over someone and it burns up their mortal essence so fast that they have to keep swapping out who takes the place of the father. Currently, it is a 16-year-old kid that is the father of the true faith with the wisdom of generations. So this is the fountain that we're going to be taking place around today. And I think this beginning scene is you and your brother walking down this cobblestone road, correct?
Correct, yes.
All right. So this dream sequence, 2 years back, what does your brother look like? Why don't you give us a description of Edward?
So Edward stands a few inches shorter than Oliver, broader in the shoulder and chest. He stands more straighter, dresses in fine silk clothing, bearing the colors of the Hastings house, the reds, the blacks, and the golds. And his a finely crafted saber, passed down from father to firstborn son, rattling at his hip. As he walks, there's a commanding aura about him. Whether it's from the many scars on his face or the piercing gaze of his ice blue eyes, he just commands to be looked at, to be noticed, to be recognized as he leads just a couple steps in front of Oliver. Not far enough that there would be a disparity in rank and position, but enough to make people aware who
almost like
the
how a
eldest
person
brother
would walk
is.
their dog.
I
You're
mean,
healed behind him just a few steps.
just a few steps. Yeah.
All right. So your brother is shorter than you, broader stature. We've talked about this before. And those who've watched the show know that his brother is part of the show, but he's not alive during the show. The spirit of his brother has been locked to the Whisper, fettered to the engine of the airship that they are currently using. He is how it flies and operates and gives it motion and momentum. And that is the part of soul punk that people always ask about. Why is it soul punk? Well, there are the True Faith members who believe that since there's no purgatory, the souls need to do something. And they found out that if a soul has a job, they're less likely to become malevolent or turn or haunt an area. So they started binding them to relics. And then later learned that since they don't have water for what they used to use, steam-powered stuff, they could use souls to do the same thing. On the same side of it, the punk aspect of it, is there's a lot of people who think that what the True Faith is doing is kind of wrong. Like you are forcing somebody after death to continue working. So that is the punk part. In this case, your brother is alive. You're traveling with him, walking down the Cadra Boulevard, and then off the beaten path into what is no longer the town square. It's the old town square. Cadra's so large now. This is kind of like a small park in memory of how Cadra started. So, what are your brother and you walking and discussing today? How do we want to set this scene?
So Oliver, first and foremost, starts the topic off with some light, fair weather discussion.
Okay.
Um, he knows he's out here running errands, talking with business partners of Gregory, who are currently in negotiations for having their goods traded to other cities using the Hastings family line of ships.
Okay.
But Oliver's mind is on two things, on a woman and food. So he looks at Edward and he goes, Edward, what do you think they're going to be serving tonight in the dining hall?
I mean, I eat whatever's put in front of me. You know that.
Oh, yeah, yes, but do you think it's going to be fowl or something else?
Well, I mean, we do have the farm that raises fowl. It is rare. I mean, mother does love her fowl. Hey, I thought they had brought in a new shipment of a new school of fish, something equivalent to like a trout or a perch. It's not the richest man's fish, but I love perch. Density, it's fantastic. And Walter makes one of the best glazes for his fish. I hope we have fish tonight. I'm so tired of bird. God, why? Why do we have to have fowl? I know we have a farm, but ship it out for money.
But
Oh, wait,
Edward,
did you want fowl tonight?
fowl is delicious, and I was hoping for fowl tonight, yes.
There's nothing to hunting a bird. A bird is easy to hunt. There's no game involved. It is the equivalent to going to a brothel and just paying for what you want. It's not hard. It's not difficult. There's no skill in hunting fowl. They don't attack you. There's no danger. They don't even run. They walk up to you. How do you want fowl?
But there might not be any danger to hunting a fowl, Edward, but you can do much more culinary adventures with fowl than you can with fish. All the various preparations that Walter can do, it's amazing that I can eat fowl for days on days and not get tired of it because the menu changes so frequently.
All right, you're probably right. Walter's probably making fowl. Maybe we'll get both. I'm telling Walter I want fish tonight. He's making both. So this meeting we have to do. The food is great discussion, but we are near the fountain. We're supposed to be meeting with these people today. Are you ready?
For the trade talks?
Yes, the trade talks.
Well, Edward, I am a better speaker than you are.
Yeah, I'm not there for that. I'm there for I'm easily there for Tarek and Tarek's ability to bully a conversation. Tarek will not bully me. He's lost 2 duels to me.
Yes, but while you are better with the blade, I am better with speech. And I will have Tarek's ear, as well as the other 2 that I'll be discussing with today regarding terms and agreements for trade.
What are we trading? Father being as ill as father has been, I haven't seen him much. What is the trade talk for exactly today? What are we trading with him? What is the negotiation?
The Stantons are trading agricultural supplies. Tarek is dealing with gems. And I do believe what was the last one? The Lovelands. Yes, the Lovelands. They're going to be trading in military armaments and equipments.
Well, now that I can get behind. I'll tell you what, while I'm great to be on shore leave right now and back, I do miss being in the skies. Greatly. If father wasn't ill, I'd still be doing it. But here I am, doing trade negotiations. How boring. And with that, the camera kind of slides to you guys, making your way forward. Now, Oliver, you had spoken about meeting somebody else here. Are you getting food to meet this other individual? Are they here at the talks? What is the reason that you would be meeting with Mary?
So Oliver's just accompanying Edward to his destination because both Tarek and Mary are along the same route. So he's accompanying his brother so he doesn't travel alone to the end destination of the fountain.
Gotcha.
While we're walking, are there vagrants or street urchins, small children that are destitute?
When you get out of the main city square, there's less of them. So, like, when you get near the old parks, they are there surviving, like sleeping in the park, hiding in trees, feeding off of like a seed that is left out for birds and things like that. Like, they're doing those kind of things, picking up old sunflowers, or they are begging for money on the way into the park because the Earth Guard, the security force that would be in Cadra, frowns upon people being out begging in like the main area, especially like around the church, anywhere around like big monuments. They usher those people away back into the alleys, and I don't want to say the forgotten places of Cadra, but the less frequented parts of Cadra. They don't want the rich to have to deal with it if possible. So going off the beaten path where you're going in this private area, yeah, you would come across some urchins and whatnot, the more destitute of Cadra.
Edward, can you give me a moment, please?
I mean,
and before Edward turns around, Oliver just is already walking towards a pair of kids on the side of the street.
All right.
And he kind of like drops down to a crouch, his forearms kind of tucking on his thighs, like, hello there.
Hello.
What's your name?
Like, two kids are there. Are you asking me, Mr. Hastings?
Yes.
My name is Donovan.
And your friend here?
Oh, this is my little brother. Fenwick has been sick for a little bit. Pardon his cough, and you see the little kid like cover his mouth and cough a few times.
Well, Donovan.
Yes?
I do think today is your lucky day.
It's pretty cold out, and it's snowing. I mean, I don't feel that lucky.
And Oliver will reach in to his jacket and produce 2 gales.
Oh, wow. You're giving this kid 2... Okay.
2 gales.
Your brother looks at you with a scowl. Will you stop helping the destitute without making them work?
No, not when they're below the working age.
And your brother just walks a few paces away and lets you continue. And Donovan goes, I can't take that, Mr. Hastings. We haven't done any work for you. Your brother's right. It's frowned upon to take money from the wealthy without doing work for them.
Well then, Donovan, I'm going to be going to Tarek's estate.
Oh, okay.
I could use a pair of stewards to help me in my talks. Although you might have to acquire some new clothes. And he offers those gales.
Oh, what will we be doing for you?
Escorting me, carrying my goods and supplies, and perhaps even some notebooks and ledgers.
And how soon would you need us for this?
Could you be at the Tarek estate in approximately an hour and 45 minutes?
Oh, yeah, we can get close in that time. How do they know that we're gonna be welcome there? And your brother goes, ugh. Just come here, kid. The kid walks over, and he goes, you show up to the gate, hand them this, and he reaches in his pocket and pulls out a minted coin that has the Hastings heraldry on it. And it's not worth anything. It's just more of a sign. He's like, show him this. You and your sibling will be let in. Okay. Thank you, Hastings. Do we work for you now? And your brother says no. And then I'm assuming...
Absolutely.
Yes. Brother's like, yeah, sure, kid. You work for us. Oliver, we got work to do. I have a date to get to. You're delaying this, man. Let's go.
Okay, Edward. And as we're leaving, Oliver like nudges Edward aside. So two things: one, you do have a heart. Two, who are you seeing? You never told me who you're seeing at the fountain.
It's not. It's. Mom would not approve, I don't think. Maybe she would. I don't know.
Mother doesn't need to know.
Mother knows everything, and you know that. She does the ledgers, the paperwork, everything.
In worst case, she already knows and already has your disapproval, or her disapproval. So it won't hurt in you telling me.
I don't know if she'd disapprove of her. I mean, she's a good woman. It's just not serious. Well, it's serious, but I don't want Mom to know it's serious. I met her before I went for my last leave. So I've been with her for a while now.
You dog. You've been seeing her all this time, and you haven't said a word to me.
Listen, if I told you, you would have wanted to meet her. And I didn't know if it was going to last, all right? You go away for leave and come back, they always see somebody else.
And here I thought, you, the master of women, the tamer of shrews, bowing before
You're the
women.
one who's good with the women, Oliver.
You're not so bad yourself, Edward. Don't sell yourself short.
Right. Yeah. 2 divorces later.
It's their fault, not yours.
Yeah, I tell myself that every time too. Listen, let's get to this meeting and be good with it. And with that, as you guys are making your way down the path, this opens up. There's a whole bunch of trees, and it is in the middle of winter. Snow is still falling. It's one of the only times you see it, but snow here is different. The snow hits, and there's like, you know that rainbow sheen you get on oil? The top of the snow looks like that, which is gorgeous, but snow sticks to you, and it melts on you. Just like nowadays where salt on the side of the road, you can tell when you've walked through salted snow. You can tell in Athantia when you've walked through this oil sheen, dark tide snow. When it falls, it's crisp and white. When it hits the ground, it starts absorbing the remnants of tides that have washed in and out. This area has been shoveled, but when you get to the end of the path, there's an area that you would walk up to, because this fountain is taller than a kid's head. And they have this area you walk up to, and there's a rail that goes around, and you would ask for blessings and throw gales and wisps and squalls in. Standing at the foot of that, there is a woman. Would you like to give me a description of Mary?
So, Mary Ann Potts is a young woman in full bloom, radiant in the kind of quasi-glow of the Athantian setting. She has summer blonde hair that kind of cascades over her shoulders when it's let down, but she usually wears it out and about in very immaculate and intricate French braids, usually intertwined with flowers or blooms, and can be found quite frequently in elegant gowns and silks of pastels, usually greens or mint greens, light blues, colors that complement the blonde hair.
Okay. So, as you start to approach her, your brother goes, "Ah, yes," and he walks up to Mary, gives her a kiss on the lips, and gives Mary a big hug. Oliver, I would like you to meet Mary. She's the lady I've been seeing for, a year, right, Mary?
Mary?
And he just looks at you and sees the, look on your face. And the people you're supposed to meet are over here on the side. I'm assuming Oliver has moved up as well on the path. And she's kind of standing down there. She has winter clothes on. They're very clean. Around the edge, there's a little bit of the snow stain that's happened around the fur that is around the bottom. And she has some coins in her hand that she's recently obviously walked up and flicked some stuff into the fountain. And everyone's watching as you guys walk up and you see the party over here. Oliver, what is your response to this?
Edward, you've been dating Marianne Potts for a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And you have said nothing to that effect.
Why would I? She's free
And
to
I'll-
date who she would like. He seems very lost on why you're upset. Your brother has been gone for a while. How long ago did your brother get back? Like a week?
Probably
Especially
a
for
week.
this to happen.
Yeah.
All right. So,
And Marianne, you didn't say anything to the effect that you were dating my brother.
what are you talking about? We've been together for like a year or so, a little over.
All of our conversations?
Conversations. He was gone on leave for quite some time.
So what was I
Back
then?
for you? A friend? I mean, more in some cases. And Edward goes, I mean, I was gone, Oliver. She was allowed to date whoever she wanted while I was gone. Couldn't tell her not to. Two divorces in? Like, I can't keep a woman while I'm gone. Why are you upset, Oliver? Mary? Mary's like, Oliver's upset because him and I had seen each other a little bit. And Edward goes, oh, brother, was she keeping you company while I was gone?
It was more
Listen.
than company, Edward.
I don't need to know the details. More than company is fair enough. Mary is free to do that, but Mary and I'm home now, and with Father being sick, I have to stick around to pick up the slack for him. Her and
No,
I are
Edward.
very
Any other
serious.
woman other than Mary.
But that's not how this goes, Oliver. She's not.
That is how this one
purchased.
will go. Yes, Edward.
So Mary backs away as you guys start to argue, and the crowd is seeing the Hastings, and your family is like up there in ranks of nobility and importance in the city. You guys have donated a lot. And Mary steps back, and Edward steps up to you close, like in your face. And he's like, brother, let it go. I'm home. I have to take up Dad's position. I have to be wed at some point. You know how this goes. Find a new girl, Oliver.
No, Edward. You've had 2 divorces. You let Marianne go. You find another woman to be your bride. Your third bride.
Pokes you lightly, not hard, but with those big, thick, working hands. Pokes you in the chest and goes, no, Oliver. You find somebody else. Marianne, I think my brother and I need to speak. Can we see each other later this evening? And she goes, yes. I don't want to cause a family feud. I was just keeping... He's like, nope. Mary, I will speak with you later. And Marianne will wander off through the trees back towards the center of town. Away from the dispute that is happening.
All right, Edward. We should trade words. We could trade words. But I would prefer it if we did it your way, rather than mine.
And he turns around and he goes, Oliver, there's no reason to do it this way. Just let her go. Go
And there's
find a
the-
new woman.
There's the song, the ringing of steel as Oliver draws his saber, and he's like, "First blood, as it's been, brother."
Kid, you've never won.
First
Why are you doing this?
blood, brother.
Like that scar? And he points to the one on your face. Let's not do this again. I don't want to make you the ugly brother. Stop, man. And he puts his hand on your shoulder, like reaches out.
And he just slaps it away.
So with that, should we cut back to the other scene? With you and your mother? All right. So you and your mother have a pretty good relationship, right? Are you the favorite son? Isn't that kind of what we talked about for your background?
Gregory has taken to grooming Edward as the favorite, as the firstborn son, and leaving that void for Oliver Lavender is taken to Oliver as her favorite son.
Okay. So what does your mother look like? What does Lavender Hastings look like?
She's she's the Helen of Troy of Cadra. Like,
Okay. Good
renowned.
Good description.
Yeah, renowned for her beauty.
All right.
She has almost indescribable brown, like rich brown locks, silky smooth, perfectly kempt, never a hair frazzled or dead of end.
So she looks like silver screen perfect all the time?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well composed. She wears the Hastings colors and silks as well.
Okay.
But she also adds always a kind of purple thin silk shawl over the shoulders.
Okay. So Lavender, ageless looking, always younger, the youngest looking woman in the room of other people her age. And all of the siblings are hers, correct? All your siblings are her kids. Yep. So one marriage, at least within the family of the Hastings, because that's nobility for you. You overcome the struggles of marriage with this type of nobility. And I'm assuming your brother being divorced twice, that's caused a little bit of issues. That probably cost money too to silence those divorces. There's nothing in the true faith that says you can't separate. There's nothing like that. It has more to do with lineage and family. But your brother does not have any kids. So in this scene, it's you and your mother speaking. How long ago, before this beginning of confrontation between you and your brother, how long ago was this?
Probably 2 months.
All right. So he was still gone at that time.
Yep.
And then where do we want to have this at? So this is just a flashback within this dream sequence. When 2 months ago would this be? Would this be like on the balcony? Would this be 2 months ago? Would this be in the fields for the winery? Where would you have this at?
I imagine it. So most large sprawling estates have a sunroom.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like tall floor to ceiling glass panes that come kind of in a half octagon around a small coffee table with a couple seats. And in this sunroom is probably her favorite part. She likes the warmth that it brings, the safety. And there are a few plants, vines that kind of grow. Staff always said that they kind of resembled belladonna, but Oliver never bought it. But he's not a botanist.
No. So your mother is standing, looking out, and is this? I'm gonna say this is out over a pond that is in the backyard, a large one that is ringed with a couple of docks. There are some small boats out on the water, and it's a good like 100 yards from the sunroom. And the sunroom sits up on a rise, and you kind of go down a hill a little ways or a staircase down to that pond that is down there. Pond is large, almost a small lake in size, and it's actual water. Your family is rich enough that they have paid the true faith in the hand of water to come and fill this and to consistently come and keep real water. So much so that you have actual fish and skyfish in the same area. And it's kind of that sign of nobility when not only do you have fresh water, you have a swimming area, because water is so rare in this world that is drinkable. Only drinkable water and usable water comes from the true faith. It's how they rise in power and actually in following. So your mother looking out over it, she turns to you, says, Oliver, I think we need to have a discussion before your brother gets back. With your father's illness, we need to talk about your position in the family. I know we've had this discussion before, but we need to come to terms. I want you to pick up the mantle after your father passes, and not your brother. He is too bullheaded and prone to anger, and that is not what we need in the family. I need your charisma, what you've gotten from me. We need to be the forefront of the Hastings heraldry of the family in negotiations. Your brother is just going to cause more harm than good. It is too much of the bad parts of your father. Oliver, we need to figure out a way for you to take it.
Mother, I can't assume Edward's role. He's been groomed by father. Father spent years ensuring that when his time comes, that Edward would fill his seat. And I understand.
Been groomed by me.
And I understand that Edward is brash, abrasive sometimes, but he's a good leader. His men respect him aboard his vessel. Why me?
That is not politics, Oliver. Politics are not the same as cannons on a ship. It's not the same as protecting the skies. Here, grounded, politics are needed more than war. You have that. He does not. And she turns and sits down, and one of the servants comes over and she waves them out of the room. There's always a servant around on the Hastings estate, pouring tea for you, giving you things along those lines. And she ushers him out. Says, close the doors, please. They close the doors on their way out.
Oliver will also take his seat opposite of Lavender.
Oliver, your brother has made too many mistakes. And he has cost the family a lot of gales. 2 divorces, the alcoholism when he comes back from leave, the press that has had to be paid off. We've never had that with you, Oliver. Father sees a man of war, a protector, and thinks that is what is needed. But your father has forgotten what that's actually like. I think he is living through your brother's actions because your father no longer can do those things. And he wants to grasp onto those final moments that he can't have. But your father's a politician now. He's not a war veteran active anymore. He is a veteran. He has retired from the Air Guard. He has retired from even flying, other than the casual time in the skies. You are perfect for this.
So then, what would you have me do, Mother? Would you have me wait until Edward dies in the field? Would you have me despoil his name by revealing secrets to public so that he would have to be sent to exile? How?
No. We don't need to besmirch his name more because that would only affect the Hastings family more. It needs to be honorable. You need to take his mantle through the only thing he understands. Force.
A duel.
I think a duel would work, but I think a duel has to be to submit, not first blood, not the trickle that you two have practiced your entire life. The other has to submit publicly for it to work. You don't need to kill him. I don't want my son to die, but I do believe him giving the knee is enough for you to take his place. Father would have to give it to you. It is in the Hastings Code.
I don't know if this is going
through submission.
I don't know if this is going to work, Mother. I've never won against Edward.
You've never had my training for a duel. I can help you. It wouldn't even be cheating if the rules are properly placed. Think about it, Oliver. You must make him submit. Submit is the safest way. Obviously, if he were to die, you're next in line. I don't wish him death. I wish him to understand. You are the rightful person to take this place. And with that, I think we cut from that scene and we take us back to the map, to you calling the duel to first blood. And with that, does Oliver say no, first to submit? He's taken your lady without you knowing. The deception is real. Mary knew as well, but Edward had to have known. What does Oliver want to do in this moment? As your brother turns around and points out your scar, saying you have never won, the camera slides down to the blade that you're holding and the trinket that is attached to it. So this trinket is a small metal piece on a chain, almost on the pommel, and it hangs. It adds to the balance. You thought your sword was perfect before, but as soon as your mother attached this trinket, it became even more proficient, better weighed, but lighter at the same time, without changing the material it is made from. And while you don't know what it is, the leaf on it looks very similar to the same herbs that grow in the garden out back, that what the servants say is belladonna. What does Oliver say to his brother?
You point out my scars, brother, and neglect your own.
I wear mine with pride. I have, and he pulls up his sleeve, I have tattoos, ink around my scars, labeling them. I wear mine with honor.
As I wear mine. So, brother, not to first blood then. First to submit.
Are you kidding me? Oh. Should I fight without a weapon so you have a chance?
Are you going to keep blathering your mouth? You're going to draw your steel.
I'm sorry. Oliver, you have never won. Never once. You've drawn blood, nicked me when I'm not looking as a child, but you have never beat me or made me submit. And he looks around and he's like, in front of people, we are supposed to meet with these gentlemen right now.
And I can meet with them after you've submitted.
Not if you're unconscious. And he backs up and draws his weapon. Now, you use a dueling saber, correct?
Correct.
Your brother pulls a longsword. Not like the two-handed version, but that thick, wide blade that is very different than what you are carrying. That you have that nice, fine, thin steel, light, has a flex to it. His is hard. His is made for breaking shields, for stabbing and boarding ships. His is made to destroy things. And he's broken numerous of your weapons using this. It has on the cross guard, the heraldry of your family. It has his initial for it. On the back side of it, it has the trade scales that are part of the Hastings symbol. This is one of those things that he takes honor not only in what he does, but his weapon reflects his personality. It is brutal, it is forward, and it is nothing but walking to the finish line. And if it is through your opponent, striking them down, and that is how he has always fought you. Strength and sheer intimidation. So with that, I'm going to zoom us in on this map a touch. I want to bring us in around the fountain and line us up here. So where do you want this duel to be on this map? Where are you seeing this throwdown actually happening?
Right along the length of the fountain. with
Okay.
Oliver moving to stand at one far end, waiting for his brother to take his proper position.
Okay. Let me do this. I'm just gonna slide this. Oops, I'm gonna do that. All right. So let me move your brother over here. So your brother walks this way, and he looks to the gentleman you're supposed to be meeting with, and he goes, I apologize, gentlemen. My brother needs to be taught a lesson right now because he is mad about a woman. And they all kind of laugh a little bit. Some of the other women over here that are watching start to look on, and the crowds kind of give space. It is snowed out. It has been shoveled here, but it is cold. It's like maybe 20 degrees out, 15. There is ice from water that is splashed out from birds that have landed and whatnot. And her brother goes, Oliver, I'm going to give you one last chance to just back away from this. This is it. This is your only chance I'm giving you.
In response, Oliver just raises his sword in a salute.
I see how it's
and then brings it back down to his side.
He follows two hands, salutes, and puts the one hand down, so he's holding it in his right, and then he taps a ring, and a bracer shows up with a shield on the other hand. In your dream, I think you would have a little bit of a shake because you just fought a Leshy with a very similar style. And I think it is the reason you probably beat that Leshy. You have fought this battle before. So with that, we're going to go into dueling rules. And I got to say, these Pathfinder dueling rules are way better than I thought they were going to be.
They're pretty good.
So we usually don't do a lot of dice rolls during side quests, but for this thing, I think we're going to give it a couple rounds. I want to see how well this plays out, and I want to see how bad this actually goes. So let me move some dice out of the way here. All right. So your brother looks to you, backs up. How big of a space between you two is there going to be? About what it is there?
Should be about 20 feet of space from square to square. So yeah, that's perfect.
All right, so he draws a sword. He steps into it. That one thing. The one 5-foot step forward. He still has his sword in front of him and the bracer below him like so. And his demeanor changes. It goes from that like laughing at you, joking, to the I'm going to teach my little brother a lesson that he never forgets. And he looks at you and he goes, Oliver, remember this always. And he charges with no other words. So let's get us, I picked what I'm doing. I am going to roll my initiative. For this, Oliver, for the sake of conversation, I'll give you a hero point for this flashback. Okay. I think it makes sense during this time frame to have that. But I'm going to give him one as well. I think that is only fair for this kind of a combat. And he charges forward. Do you have your thing picked that you want to use?
Always. Yep.
All right. I am going to go with mine. I have a 21, and I am going with intimidation.
I have a 23 for deception.
Ooh, so what happens with intimidation versus deception?
Oliver has been training in the exact opposite style of his brother for some kind of eventual advantage. Right. Deception has the advantage over intimidation.
Okay.
So if I were using perception and intimidation were to go off, intimidation could use their reaction on the attack to try and shake an opponent. That angle of attack to use that reaction for that bullying press is less effective versus someone using deception.
Okay.
Likewise, my deception, if you were to hit me, but it's not a critical, I could use my deceptive reaction to try and force you to reroll and take the lower result. And you get a -2 to that roll because you're using intimidation.
So he charges forward, and you see his footing slip a little bit, which is not normal. This is something you definitely notice with him. He's usually solid, firm. He fights on airships. Like, he is used to movement. And he slips just a touch, giving you the edge on your initiative. What do you do?
So he charges. Oliver steps into the charge. And as he's charging and Oliver steps into the charge, he pivots on his foot and steps around him to try and sweep his saber down and sever the tendon on the back of that leg to try and take advantage of his momentum, that weakness, and the slickness of the ice.
All right. Give me your roll, buddy. Are you using any panache with this or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
No bravado for Oliver this time. Just a grimacing face.
Just getting it done.
Does a 27 hit, my brother?
A 27. Let's see here. Yes, because of his ailment he has right now, you do hit him. So you strike him in the back of the leg. Hard. Wasn't a crit, but it is enough to do some damage. Give me your damage for him and I will put it down.
Oh, that'll be 5 damage for now.
Right. So you slice it and he rolls with it and powers through, and he puts his left knee as you go to hit his right leg, and he pushes your saber arm, releasing a little bit of the cut that you would do, not doing as much damage as you should have. He comes across with his shield to strike you as you're coming in. What would you like to do with the other 2 attacks? Or actions, I should say.
So kind of leave.
Move, 1 to attack. You got 1 left, actually. 1 action left.
So with the last one, now I'll use the Bon Mot. As this smile comes across Oliver's face, this shit-eating grin, he's like, "Are you doing well, brother? I don't usually get a blow in."
He just grits his teeth.
And he'll use Bon Mot versus his brother's
So what does Bon
will
Mot
DC. So Bon Mot, a witty quip, comes out. I roll my diplomacy versus their will DC, which is their will save plus 10. If I succeed, I get a point of panache. And they have a -1, I believe, to their attacks.
Okay.
So let's see.
I don't know how, looking at this guy's stats, there's any chance that he would actually lose to you if he was not ill.
I wish I rolled like this during
hey, you did well
the
on your
main
last
stream.
So what did you get?
That would be a 26.
26 does not hit.
Versus his will DC?
Oh, will DC. Yes, that does hit my will DC.
Yep.
I try to have a good will DC, but it's not that great. Especially in his certain states. So you hit. What does that do to me?
So let's see here. So when I hit, he should have a penalty.
Okay.
To his attacks.
All right, I will mark it. I believe it's a -1 or a -2 to it, correct?
Pulling it up right now. Thank God for
That's your last action, right?
That would be my last action, yeah.
So as you call him out, he grimaces harder and he bears down on you, pushing you. He wants to get his back away from the fountain, and he pushes with the shield hard. Now, I used intimidation during mine. Do I still get to use my bullying press?
Oh, it's -2 to perception and will saves.
Okay. Ooh. Do I get to push? Do I get to use my bullying press?
You do.
Okay, so he is going to use his first action to do his bowling press. Pushing against you, getting you away from you as a reaction to what you're doing. I'm going to do a melee strike against you. Ooh, you've caught this man off guard. Because I don't think a 18 hits you, does it?
It does not.
Okay. So he pushes and strikes. You roll off the shield, but with his next action, he is going to take that momentum and roll around to the other side of you. These people have backed up and they are standing behind the bench now, seeing that you need space, making sure that they aren't in the way. And people start to crowd around and make their way over to you all as you are starting to fight. As this duel is going on, a man steps up from the right-hand side with a pistol drawn. He fires it into the air, and he says, I, Philip Crownstone, declare myself witness to the Hastings duel of rights. I will act as the arbitrator for this duel as you guys are in the middle of the fight and everyone starts crowding around. He's like, bear witness, people around the song of the mother. And they start making their way to listen. So as that happens, they start closing in your ability to move around without getting in the way of the audience. Your brother smiles. He's like, looks like we have a crowd now, kid. And he cocks back with his sword. And instead of coming in with the blade, he comes in with the pommel, trying to strike you in that same scar. That flashback comes through of how he scarred you last time. So with this, at my minus 5, does a 24 hit you?
I will activate my reaction, which is a deceptive sidestep, and I'll have you re-roll that.
Oh, damn it. I don't think I hit you. Does a 20 hit you? Oh no, minus 5. Does a 15 hit you?
15 will not. So he comes in with the fist.
No, I'm using my hero point.
Oh, okay.
Natural 20.
Oh shit.
So as this push and you kind of roll on him, and then what do you say to him with your is it your reaction? What does your reaction do, and what do you say?
So the fist comes in, I roll off, sliding, and I just like, Marianne will be mine.
And he goes, Marianne is mine. And as he does that, he strikes in and pushes hard, pushing back. And as that pummel's coming in, he shifts it around and runs the blade across the side of your other cheek, aiming to scar you. Natural 20, I'm assuming, crits you, correct?
Yep.
So max of 8. And... so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... 16, 17, 18, 19 points of damage on the crit as he slides it across your cheek. On crit, I have a action that takes place. I need you to give me a fortitude save.
Ooh. That's an 11.
So I have the ability to redirect somebody after a critical hit. And on that blow, he rolls you around and presses your back to the cold stone of the fountain, holding you in place as he cocks back with the shield, and we go to the beginning of the next round. Get your initiative ready. Okay. I went with perception this time.
I'm still going with deceptive sidestep.
I have a 27.
Or deception. I'm going on a 11.
So as he perceives your footing, watches what you're doing, even though your brother is a bully and presses, he knows how to look for openings. He looks for a weakness in somebody and exploits it over and over and over. And as he comes in and goes to strike, he says, too bad she already has my kid in waiting. So does a 22 hit you? Okay. So he strikes again. Not a crit though, right? It's not 10 over.
Nope.
So he does 7 points of damage to you, and when he hits you this time, he's drawing the blade back across. Would you like to use your sidestep? Or are you going to take that blow? You see sweat beading on his face. Only just a few moves into this.
The saber comes up to try and deflect the blow, and I'm going to use dueling parry instead as my reaction.
All right. Does that use a panache?
It does not.
Okay. Is that your reaction then for the round?
Yep.
All right.
So my AC increases by 2.
So I don't hit you?
What did you roll?
I got a... Do I have to roll again?
Yeah. This is... you already hit me with the first attack for 7.
Oh, okay. You took that. All right. So this is for the second attack? I got a 15.
Yeah, that won't hit.
And then for the third attack, I'm going to try to bull rush you into the fountain. I rolled a natural 1. As he pushes, his feet slip out from under him, and he falls chest first, hitting hard on that like waist-high stone, that 3-foot-high stone, knocking some of the wind out of him. And he coughs. Your perception, you see when he coughs, blood comes out of his mouth and smatters on the top of the ice that is forming around the side of the fountain. And it goes to you. His back is to you. He is down.
So Oliver's face is sheeted with blood from that deep gash going from the just above the corner of his mouth all the way up the side of his face that carries
like
just short of the ear. Yeah. And as that blood's sheeting, as he's suffering from like a swelling of the other side of the face where the other blow has struck him, kind of looks down at his brother coughing up blood, and there's no pity in his eyes. There's no sense of apathy. He'll just raise a foot and put it on his brother's chest.
Okay.
And he'll just say, "Submit, brother."
Give me a... Are you using intimidation on him, basically?
Nah, it's more like diplomacy.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check versus him. Did you kind of roll him? Are you rolling him over? Kind of like off his front onto his back on the stone?
Yeah.
All right.
He like gently nudges with his foot to roll his brother over, then puts his foot firmly on his chest. He's like, "Submit, brother."
Okay.
You are in no condition to continue fighting. As things go, that's a 12.
Do you want to use your hero point for this?
Yeah.
Or are you saving it?
I'll use a hero point for this.
All right, give me a roll. Because I will tell you that did not work. Your brother...
That's 22.
That does work, especially in my current state. And he goes, "I will not submit to you. But because of you doing that, I now have another -2 for your next actions to what I'm doing, lowering his AC even more." And he goes, "I will not submit. Mary would not want me to submit. My child would not want me to submit, Oliver." And he like starts to try to stand up as you have your foot on him, like, because he's stronger than you. Normally he would toss you aside doing this, but he is struggling to stand. You notice it. You have 2 more actions left. What would you like to do? You did 1 to flip him over, 1 to give you your, because those are 2 actions, 1 to do your diplomacy. You have 1 left. Are you striking him?
Oliver stares at his brother. There's a conflicted look that flickers in his eyes. And he just says, "You had your choice of so many other women in the city. It just had to be Marianne.
She chose me.
And when you were gone, she confided in me that she prefers me to you." And with a shake, the feather just kind of melts away into wisps and embers, or the leaf melts away into embers.
Okay.
And Oliver plunges the blade, aiming for his torso, right beneath the diaphragm, an incapacitating blow.
So if you use it, the sword You don't even need to roll. Not only does it strike true, it recenters. As you go to strike through, you feel your hand guided as it strikes through and through his heart. And you can feel this summer warm grasp from behind on your hand, on your back. And I'm going to quickly cut to the camera and you and your mother talking as she hands you the trinket. She says, I will attach this to your sword. Back in the sunroom, she's like, there is heritage amongst us that you don't understand. But I belong to a group that can bestow magics the true faith have not seen. If you do your brother or fight your brother and you use this trinket of our lineage, it will strike true. You will feel the guidance of not only myself, but some of the greatest warriors our family has had. And as that happens, it cuts back to you guys fighting, and you do feel numerous people re-guiding your strike true and through your brother's heart. Everyone in the crowd gasps.
And there's this look of abject horror on Oliver's face as he did not think that's what it meant. As the blade guides to his brother's heart, his eyes widen and his muscles grow tense as he tries to pull back to try and fight it. But the blade's already in motion, and he sees time slow as the tip of the blade slips into his brother's chest.
As it hits that rib and slides through, and you feel it purse stone. You hear a crack as the tip of your blade snaps off in the stone from the strike. And how not only true it was, but the strength behind it was not your own. And when you release your hand and pull it away, the basket hilt is all the way up to his chest. As he slumps down, behind him you can see the blade through not the mortar, but the actual foundation stone this was built out of. And the blade is sticking out of it. The broken piece of your sword.
No. And Edward will toss the basket hilt aside and like kind of pick up his brother, arm coming around his shoulders and lifting up his neck. His hands like desperately trying to cover the wound, knowing that it's already too late. And he's just like, no, Edward. I didn't mean it to be like this.
Into the air as the crowd goes, oh my lord, oh, the true faith, the true father has struck home, struck true. And you hear the person who is the witness of this, Philip, go, I declare Oliver Hastings the winner of this duel through death. And the crowd goes, one of the Hastings brothers have died. And people start murmuring. And as you kind of hold your brother and look up through the trees, you can see Mary watching the spectacle. She makes eye contact with you and just smiles and turns and walks away. And with that, I'm going to cut this. This is going to be a short side quest. And it'll go back to Oliver waking up from what was a good dream to that nightmare he has had time and time again. The sweats, the feeling of pain in your chest, Mary somehow smiling about this. And we'll cut to that. And I love doing these side quests, Alan. They're so fun. And this is a fucked up one. And I'm super excited we got to do this. So short and clean side quest for everyone to watch. Thank you for watching this, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this journey, for Dark Tides, for Athantia, and for letting us tell these stories. For those who are wondering when these air, our side quests air the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of a month. Our live show is on the 1st and 3rd. So join us for those as we dive into what makes Athantia, the soul punk Victorian horror setting that is outstanding to actually bring to you guys. This has been something in the making. So that is it from us today, and I hope to see all of you on the 20th for our next live show, 7:30 PM CST. That is it for us today, everyone, and bye.
Bye.
Oh, Oliver, you're so dirty.